Hey, welcome back to yet another interesting beginner Python project tutorial. This is a to-do list manager. This is slightly different from the to-do list that we've done earlier in that here you can sort and view tasks in terms of priority, date, etc. And you can even remove the task in terms of priority and date wise. You can sort them out. So you will see as we go. So first and foremost, we have to import OS and time. You already know why. And this is for pausing the screen and also for clearing. OS is for clearing the screen. Time is for pausing. Then we need to create some variables, right? So think of all the variables that you have to create. You need to add also the functions. So first and foremost, what are the tasks you need to add? You need to add the task, you need to view, you need to delete or remove. So we have to make the functions accordingly. So we make an add function, we make a view function, we make a remove function. Then we do a while true loop. So this is how it's going to be, slightly similar to the to-do task that we've done earlier, to the to-do list project that we have done earlier. So here I call it the to-dos. You can call it to-dos list or whatever list. So this is basically the list where you're going to fill up the task. So to-dos, I call it, I make it empty because we've not yet started adding the items. Then we make a function for adding. So what is that? Add. So define add. Yeah, in Python it's always like that, right? We have to make the functions and then inside that you have to create the variables. So before creating the variables, you need to do the pausing and the clearing of the screen, for which we do time.sleep 1, 2, that's up to you, and os.systemClear. Okay, so this is as usual, and I'm trying to remove the AI from my Replit code editor. I'm using the Replit cloud editor, but it's despite my request and despite my removal, I don't know why the automatic line is still coming up. I've already reported this to Replit. Hope I'm able to remove it for the next tutorial. Sorry about this. It's a major hassle. The line keeps coming up. Okay, so os.systemClear, you've done that. Now you have to create a variable by the name item. You can call it to do or to do's, whatever you want to name. This is basically the item, the to do item. This is user generated. So I have to use the inbuilt function input, right? So input function in the parenthesis as a string, you can say what item do you want to add or item to add. That's totally up to you what string you write inside that. So the user understands that he's getting the prompt to add the item or the to-do task, whatever. You can even call it the to-do task. That's up to you what name you use. Okay. Then you are creating another variable by the name of date. Why? Because date, that's the difference in this to-do task. You can even you can even add tasks based on the date. Which day you have to do so and so. So that's like priority. So date, input, what is the due date? Like, okay, I need to finish this node. By what date do I need to finish? By what due date do I need to finish? So that's more like organized, right? Your to-do list is more organized. So it's like a to-do manager. So date, input, what is the date? That also is user generated. Use the input function. Then the priority. So again, using the input function, what is the priority? It's like high priority, medium priority, or low priority, meaning like how important it is, like very highly important or just so and so, or least important, something like that. So that's like you prioritize the to-do list so that you only look at the important ones first and then look at the less important ones at a later date, something like that. So that's one. So you've created the variables, item, date, priority, and then you create a variable called row. Why? Because row is going to be in what order you want. Item, first item, then the date, then the priority. This is how you want it, right? So it's easier for you when you're looking at the item, okay, so and so item, due date so and so, priority so and so. It makes life so much easier and more organized and more productive, right? So this is more like a productive to-do list. Okay. So now you have these many variables. Now what you need to do after making all these variables, you need to append. So to-dos dot append the row. Why you are appending the row? Because the row contains the not just the item, but in that order: item, date, priority. So it's like helping you in getting your pretty print. I mean, in that order that you want, the outcome in the order that you want. Then print added, so that you know that all these items, whatever task you have done, it's already added. The moment you add the item, you will get the output on the screen. The screen will print out, okay, item added or added, whatever. So that part is done. Then you create another, you need to have the view variable or the view function. So you have to define the view function. So this is required. Why? Because you finish adding the items. Now you want to take a look at it, like what you have added. Maybe you want to look at it line by line, or maybe you want to look at it after adding all the items. That depends on the scenario. So you define view. Yeah, so you can call it view, look, that's totally up to you. But of course, view makes more sense. Python is so much more English-like, right? So view makes more sense in this case. Yeah, there was some typo error, sorry. Instead of input, I put a double I. Okay, just testing out. There was some typing error, so the code will show the error even if you make a typo or an indentation error. Okay. So let's get started with the next function after correction of this. Okay. Okay, I think all set. Not a problem. You can actually either you can check after adding each function, but the wiser part would be to check, especially if it's Python. I prefer to check after adding all the code, because it really makes your coding very slow. But this time I just suspected a spelling or a typing error. I saw it after doing the first function, so that's why I just checked it out. Okay, so let me do the next function without wasting your time, which is the define function. So define view function, sorry, defining the view function. So here the function is view, so I'm defining it. So what all things needs to be done here, as usual, the time.sleep and os.system, that is part of every function, you need to know that. And after that, what all variables do I need to create? So if you know, like when you're viewing it, like, you know, like on what basis, this is what you need to think when you're creating the variables. On what basis do you want to view? Obviously, you want to view it either in terms of your choice or option, which is important, less important or whatever, or you want to view it in terms of no options. That is, you want to view the entire list, choice or no choice, option or no choice. So here we create a variable called options. You can call it choice. That's up to you, whatever word you have in mind, which is clearer to you. But options is a good word because that's a common word, right, for choice. So options, I create a variable, and what is a value I delegate? How do you get the value for it? By using the input function. Yeah. So it's like we give it like points. So number one choice or option is all. That means irrelevant of high priority, low priority, medium priority. I want to view all the tasks that I've added. All the to-do tasks that I've added. Number two, view in terms of priority or view by priority, choice, whatever. So I give like two options. Okay, now we create an if-else loop inside this options. Okay, so if options equal to 1, that means the first choice. That means what happens? You want to see all the items, right? All means that irrelevant of the choices of priority, whether it's high, low or medium. So if options is 1, so for the row, in to-dos, because here remember the row is having the priority, item, date and priority. So for that particular row, introduce, and then under that you have to again mention the second condition, nested for item in the row. So first you consider the row which has item, date and priority. Inside that, what you need to consider the item which is in that particular row with the date and priority, right? So if you think like this, you won't get confused. So what do you need to print? Print item, comma, end equals to this is the vertical slash. Now why do you need the vertical slash? Like I explained last time, to have the table type, the table looks like a table type of vertical columns format. So item and end equal to 1, this is a code for that. Then you print out. Okay, so this is for the option or choice which is number 1. Okay, implement that with the print function. Come out of the second for loop, go into the first for loop and print it out. This is again inside. Remember, when you have to be very clever when you're nesting the loops. This first print is again inside the option 1. Remember that. It's inside the option 1. So you have to be careful about the indentation. If you remember like this, you won't make a mistake in the indentation. Then after that, if loop, remember, so else, because you've got one more choice left. So what is the next choice? Else. Option is going to be 2, right? Okay. So else means we already know if it's not choice 1, it will be choice 2. So in that case, it will be based on priority. So else, which means for 2, we have to say priority. Okay. Input, what is your priority or what priority you want to type, like is it medium, high, low, high, medium, low. First, view all. Understood? Just print out the item. Second, if it is not that way, it's by choice, then you have to write over here priority. You have to prompt the user with the priority variable, input what priority. Then again the same, make the loop, the for loop. So for row introduce, if, so in that particular row, if priority in the row, that means you have made a choice for priority and not all, for that item in the row, for item in row. So you see how the nesting is happening. Only if there's a priority in the row, then you go and find that item in the row. Yeah. So again, you have to do what in that case? If there's a priority for that particular item in the row, print item n equals the vertical slash. And then print, the print function to print it out. And so now I hope you understand, this is how it goes. So print it out under the, so this is under the second option. So that's why you do the print function here first. And then you have to print out to implement this function. Okay. So here you are again doing it under the for loop. Remember that, because this print is for this particular condition, for this loop, whereby you are choosing the viewing as per priority. So that's why it stays inside the priority case. Yeah. Then, okay. So what else you need to do? Come out of the loop. Yeah. Come out of the loop and print out the function. Then you are getting yourself ready to make your next function. Now, what is the function that you need again? Remember, I said when I say, okay, time.sleep, that is for pausing, because you've come out of the loop, you want to pause the screen. Okay, now when you're doing the edit function, now you need the edit function. Why? Because in this organizer or in this to-do manager, you need to you also have the edit function, and not just edit, but edit the item in terms of date and priority, right? So you'll see how it goes. So now you define the edit function. Again, as usual, inside the edit function, you have to do the regular time.sleep and os.system clear. That is a regular one in all these functions. Okay, so it's like goes without saying. And then you have to create a variable. Think what term do you want to give. Yeah, that means you need to check and find out, like, from the user, which item do you want to edit. Yeah, so you need to find out which item or what item do you need to edit, right? Otherwise, how can you edit? You cannot edit all. So you need to create a variable for that. So I call it check, you call it find. You can do, like, you can think of it whichever one you feel comfortable. So I call it like check, like, because I want to check which item is to be edited. So I call my variable check. So check equal to input, because again user generated, item to edit please, then question mark, so that the user will prompt over there which item you want to edit. Yeah, then after that I say checked equal false. Now this means in the initial state, so that's why I call it false. In the initial state, checked in the past tense, in the future tense, because so far I haven't checked. So I call my variable checked is false because I've not yet edited it. So I've not yet found it, so I call it false. So checked equals false. Yeah. Then I make a for loop for this again in the edit function. So for row introduce, for this, because we are going to do this edit after finding the row, right? So for that row introduce, if check in row. So that means if there is an item, particular item that you want to check, which is to be edited, it means like that. So in coding language, you write if check in that row, then what happens? Checked will be true, right? If you only are able to find the check in that row, then checked will be true. Otherwise, it will remain as false status. Okay. So this is one. Then if not checked, that is another condition. So if check in the row, checked will be true. But if it is not checked, that means not able to find what is to be edited, then what you have to write? Print, couldn't get it, couldn't find it, don't know which one to edit. I know which one to edit, but I cannot find it. I couldn't get it. I couldn't check it. It's just not available, whatever you can say. That means that item which you want to edit is not available. The user will get the reply or prompt from the printer. So this is what. So you have to make sure what you want to edit is there. If it's not there, you'll get a prompt, couldn't find it or couldn't get it. Yeah. So, and then you have to return. Yeah. Return in the loop. Okay. So you haven't finished the loop yet, the for loop yet. The conditions still continue. Again, inside this for loop, so one is if there is a check in the row, another one if there is not check in the row means couldn't find. Then the next one is if check in the row. Okay. So if check in the row, check this true of course. And what else you have to do? That means if you are able to find that item which is to be edited inside the row, then what you need to do, obviously, to-dos is the list. Remember, you created empty one with the items. So to-dos dot remove. So to-dos dot remove the row. To-dos dot remove row. Earlier you appended. Now you found the item that you want to edit. So that item you need to remove and then you will change it back to whatever. So to-dos dot remove row. Inside, you're still inside that for loop. Remember that you haven't exited the loop, come out of the loop. So to-dos dot remove row, then item will be input the item. That means here which item? This is the item. That means like what item you want to change. You remove the item that you don't want and then what do you want to change it back to? Something like that. So you can reformat the language, up to you. That's totally up to you. You can try it out. That will be a good experiment for you. Yeah. So this part is over. Next. Something wrong. My computer got stuck. Okay. So now next, what else you need? Remember date also, because when you're doing by priority you need the date. So date, in case you want to change the date, you can do that. Input the date, yeah, or you can put back the same date. Priority also, again input priority, like after changing, like the task that you removed was low priority, you want to replace it with another one which is like high priority, or maybe remains the same low priority. So that's why you're being given a chance to change back the date and the priority. Yeah, and then the row. So remember the row variable that we created. So here it will be just repeating it again. Row equals item, date and priority. And so what's happening here? To-dos dot append the row. You have to append it again because you removed the item that was not wanted, changed all the date and whatever stuff, spelling or whatever mistake, and then you are appending the edited item. And then you will give the response print added. Yeah, so until this part clear. Okay, then you have to make another function, remember, for deleting or removing. We have done the add function, we have done the view function. Now we are going to do the last function, which is the remove function. So define the remove function. The same thing goes, time.sleep 1 second, 2 second, up to you. os.system clear, yeah, for clearing the screen, because otherwise your screen is going to become very messy after every task, every time you're running it. Yeah. So then remember the variable that we used earlier for editing check. So we can use the same one for removing. That's the reason we use check. Now you can also figure out another way to solve this. In the edit you can use an edit variable, and for remove you can use a remove variable. But here, for the sake of simplicity and saving time, it's been done this way, but it would be fun if you can do it that way also. I'm just giving it to you as a task. Try to figure it out. So check equals input item to remove. Okay, this is user generated using the input function. And just for your information, this is based on the 100 days of code on Replit. So I'm basing the project and the code based on that, on the Replit website challenge. Okay. So check input item to remove. Earlier it was item to edit. So here you have to create another loop for row in to-dos. Okay, in that case, if check in row, same like before. But here what you'll be doing, here you are just not complicated like the edit. Here you just, if that item you find which is to be removed, straight away to-dos.remove row. That's about it. No need to remove and then add back and then change the priority, again append, no need. Because this is just about deleting the row. So to-dos.remove the row, that's it. Simple. So this is all about the remove function. I hope you are understanding and following. You can do it side by side. Well, I'm explaining. So that's why I'm explaining it slowly. Okay, now you have to do the while true loop, because in Python, as you know, that's the most important, the heart of Python projects. Okay, while true. Now you've created all your functions and variables. Then after that, you do the while true loop. So while true, you have to create a menu, right? So the menu is, this is very important for to-do list. You've seen it earlier in my earlier simplified project. So menu equals input. What is menu? Like the different tasks that you'll be doing. One is the adding, one will be adding, two will be viewing, 3 will be editing, 4 will be removing. And I've numbered it like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. And the backslash n, you know, is for new line. In Python, the backslash n means new line. Okay. So I've created the menu for adding, viewing, editing and removing. And then I do the if-elif loop. If-elif-else loop. So if menu, this is the simplest code inside the project. If menu equal, you have to remember specifically. Remember that. 1. Then what happens? Add. 1 is for adding. So use the add function, because you explain and define add already. No need to do all the lines. Just write if menu equals 1, add function. That's it. Add with the parenthesis is the add function. Next, elif menu equals to 2, all you need to do, use the view function, right? Then elif menu equals 3, what is 3 for? Edit. Use the edit function. So simple, right? Because you've already defined the function, just apply it here. So menu equals to 1, apply add function. Menu 2, use apply the view function. Menu 3, apply the edit function. So then what else is left? If menu equals to 4, apply the remove function. That's it. After this, we'll be testing it. So as simple. So you can write menu equals 4, apply the remove function, or you can also say instead of menu equals to 4, you can just write else. So it's the same thing. Because if you don't choose 1, 2, 3, then obviously the last one left is 4, right? So you can write else also. Then after that, you do your time.sleep and os.system clear. As usual for the while true loop also. Okay. So after this, the most important part, testing it out. That's fun. Now I'll be testing it out just one task or two tasks, just for the sake of explaining and to you guys only, and for saving time. But in your case, I want you to test it out with 10 or 20 tasks, to do tasks. Then it would be like fun, even though it will be time consuming. I don't want to waste your time, so that's why I'm doing it in simple way. So I want to try 20 or 25 tasks, then you will get the fun of it while you're practicing. Because if I sit and do 20 tasks, or even 5 tasks for that matter, it's going to take up your time. So here, see, you can see the menu. 1, next line 2, next line 3, next line 4. So I just write my choice 1. If you want to add, you type 1 over there and then enter. Press the enter key. Then it will say what you want to add and stuff like that. So I'm just testing it out. Then it will ask you the question, what is the date, what is the priority? It will prompt you. See, so that's what testing is all about. So then after that I press view. So view by priority, view by all. So if I say view by all, it will show me the entire one. If I say view by priority, it will show me as per low, high or medium priority. So that's quite cool, right? And then if I pressed edit, it's like what do you want to edit, or what is the item that you want to edit. I just write the item name and it's like showing, okay, so and so item. Yeah, date, priority. Okay. Okay. So, and then view by priority, it's still showing me the date, item and the priority in the row in the same fashion that I had formatted. Then if I say like choice 4, I want to remove, what do you want to remove? Item to remove. And then I write the name of the item. You have to remember that, remember. Yeah, then I do that and the item is removed. And then when I view it again, that's how you should do. When you view the item, you will find the item's gone. It's an empty list. So I just showed you with one item just like that, just to show you, test it out. But I really want you to try it out with more than 10 items. Then it will show you the table format in more fun way. But make sure you remember the items, yeah. So subscribe for more such tutorials.